How's it going, Bladesters? We're going to bring you specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. Hopefully that's at a better pace, because I was told I sounded like the Micro Machine guy on the last video. So we're just a little bit more excited. But this one's going to be right before we open up the online store for the OrionKnives.com. So there was a request. There's some videos out there also that do a very good job in taking the knife down. But I just want to make sure that you guys have the information you need, because it is something that to flip open the pocket clip, since it is a barrel spacer going through, you do have to take apart the knife to do that. So that is a little bit more of a pain to do that. If you do not want to do that, or if you do want to have your parts installed, there's an option on the website that you can add to it. So I did add a $5 service fee for that, but I'll take it down, I'll lubricate it with nano oil, and then get it back together, and then ship it out, and you get your knife how you want it, customize how you want it, and then that's just part of the whole service about it. But if you don't want it that way, and you want to do all that work yourself, then you can do it on your own. But this kind of gives you an idea as far as what you're seeing, some of the things that have come up as far as some of the concerns that folks might have, and kind of working through some of those things as well. So I did grab one as well that had one of the things that came up. We do have some new parts coming in, but that's going to be what we're going to have for this. But so this is a knife. I haven't taken this one down. So this one is going to have some Loctite on it. That's one thing that we did notice with some of them, which was a little bit more or less. So we're going to take it down, walk you through that step, kind of the things that I use, because I do have this. I have my tool. I do have a channel lock with some blue tape on it. I did hear that latex gloves work pretty well too, so you can grab onto it instead of marring up that barrel spacer for it. So we're going to do this. And then talk through some of the other options. So what I found, so this isn't going to be the same for all of them, but I found that this side is normally pretty tight on, and then so I normally take off this one, and then the pivot. So that's going to be kind of how this will break down. Most times you're not going to be taking off both of them because it is free spinning on those barrel spacers, so you're not going to be able to take off both of them. So we'll test it out just to see, but so we'll see on this side. Yeah, that's pretty tight. So it is. So if you feel that you're over torquing it, then stop and go to the other side, because that's going to be where you're going to find for that. So that one's spinning already, so we will grab the other one. So that side came out. Then this screw is going to be a little bit longer, so if you do take it apart, there's going to be basically the 4 body screws. The actual one for the pocket clip is going to be a little bit longer, so do be aware of that when you're putting it back together. So we're going to go back to the same thing. I don't know why that is, but that's kind of where it works out as far as which screws come out from what I found. So there's your other screw. So now we have basically, as long as you have one off from each barrel spacer, then you're good. So I took off one from here, one from there, and I'll take the pivot out. And then sometimes this is a little bit tight too. So if it is too tight, then back it out, put it back in, and then back it out again to just break up some of that thread locker. So I'm going to have that down, take this out. And then you do have the chart, so if you do want to look at that to see how everything goes back together, you can do that. So there's going to be all the pieces. So you're going to have the barrel spacer, you'd have a pin in here, so don't lose that. That kind of keeps everything in line. So there's going to be how that is. So if you do want to flip the pocket clip over, that's where we're going to have to take that off. But we're just taking it all down and then putting it back together. These do have a specific side to it as well. So the one that actually houses the button part of it is going to be a little bit larger for this hole, and there's going to be the one on the opposite end. And so you have all the parts through the washer. So these are the bearings that come with it. So they are multi-row bearings. They are going to be ceramic, but that comes in all of your knives. You have all these parts, pivot, other one. So that's where these are sometimes a little bit more difficult. So what I found for mine, I use a Zippo lighter. So you can use some of the other ones. People have done hot water, a soldering iron, and everything else. But what I found that worked pretty well. So I just have this one here. It's a butane. So just do this. Close that down, grab that. Slip a little bit. That comes right off. So again, if you're going to be applying too much torque, then you probably are. So just back off from it. If you do happen to break anything, I do have spare parts, so I will help you out with that as well. But I think overall, most people don't want to break their parts on their knife. So that's where I'm just giving you this information for this. So I'm not putting a lot of heat to it, but it is just a touch to it, just to get it warmed up, just to be able to break up some of that, that thread locker in there. That's where you can let me know if you guys would prefer that it didn't have any at all, but that's where it will have an issue with maybe it'll come loose, and the people that don't want to ever take down their knives will have issue with that. So that's kind of the issue that I'm kind of struggling with to actually determine how I want to do that. So that's going to be all the parts apart, so everything's down. These are all the parts, and then we'll put it back together. So that's how we take it all the way down for it. So the other parts, so once you have it to this stage, then you're going to be choosing if you do want to change it out. So it does come with either red or blue. You can change it out to blue. You can buy these as well. These are $10 a pack. So if you have a different color, so we have red, blue, and then we have orange, and then we have green. So those are all the options for that. And then you have scale options. You have the standard black G10. You have the Jade G10, which is going to be where folks will be customizing as well, or keep it the Jade. So I've seen the Jade and the green. That's also one of my son's options. And then you do have the carbon fiber, which is the other option. So those things you can do at this point, kind of figure out where you want to go with it. But we're going to go for this side. So be mindful of where you're going to have the pocket clip. So just basically just look at it, see where it's going to go. So basically pocket clip on this side is going to be right hand tip up carry, and that's where majority of folks will do, but that's going to be what we're going to have here. Hand tip up. Yep. And be mindful also where the barrel spacer itself. It's best if you keep it in the same pattern. So if you did take it off from the pocket side, put that barrel spacer on the same way, because there is some thread locker that gets in there, and then it might make it a little bit more difficult to put everything back together. So we'll have this side. So as you see on these two, now there's two different sizes. So the holes there. So this one's going to be where that button will go. This also is a little bit of a shelf in here, so that button won't fall all the way through. So you're going to put that there, drop in the button, drop in stop pin, then we'll put in the collar. So collar goes on, and then this is D-shaped, so you don't need to worry about it. So that's one thing that does not free spin on you. So that's basically where I start from most times. If I do switch it out into the left-hand carry, sometimes I'll flip it around, so where the tooling pattern, so where this pattern is actually going to be on the clip side for that Torx. So that's kind of your preference as far as how you want to do that. And I also do normally use nano oil to put this back together. But for this incident, I'm just going to get everything back together and kind of go from there. There are more parts than most liner locks and things, so that's what you might find with this type of setup. But that's how you do that. So put this one back on there. So you can sandwich everything together. That's normally what I do for it, just to make everything sure everything's on. The stop pin's lined up. The button is in the right spot. So everything comes together like so. And then it lines up to these sections here. Then from this side, you're just going to be popping this back on. Then put the other collar back on. Screw. with any screws, normally you do basically do reverse until you have a little click. So basically where that thread will lock back in there, because you don't want to basically cross thread any of these things. I'm not going to tighten it down too much, but basically until it's a little taut, and then we'll put in the other screws, get everything back together, and that's where we'll be back in business. And then we'll do the final adjustments after the fact, so we can actually get things back to how we like it. So that's where you want to make it sure it's centered, make sure it's the proper tension that you want. So if you do want it to fall a little bit slower, you can add a little bit more tension to the pivot. And then if you want it to fall a little bit quicker, there's basically to the point where it's centered, or you could back it out just a touch more and have basically even more basically a fall shut with that. So everything works. We'll close down, and then we'll tighten all this stuff back up. And I lost my other screwdriver somewhere. Oh, there it is. Normally I hold this between my knees when I do it. That's just what I find works. We're going to just cinch that down. And I normally do set up the pivot first before I lock down the body, but that's just also what I found works pretty well to get the centering right and to have everything line up properly. But those are all the parts for it. And then let me know as far as what you guys think about it. Some people have got it in. I'm getting some good feedback on it. But we do have the store that's going to be opening up. And then after this video, you do have my sons talking about their knife and their build a little bit. You'll see as far as who's a little bit more talkative than the other. But they're going to go through their knives. So if you want to stay to the end of the video and watch that, you very well can. But otherwise, that's kind of the end of this. So back together. So you will have some of those instances where the thread locker is a little bit tighter, but this is what I use. I do have the little butane Zippo. Use that. Don't put a lot of heat on it, not even to the point where that screw is hot, but that's kind of what I do. Granted, everybody else is going to have kind of a best practice for what you like, what you want to do for yours, but that's what I do for any of the ones that I've worked on. And then I haven't busted anything yet, so it might happen. But again, we do have some parts available, so I did order those things in so I can take care of you. Customer service is still there. Still have a lifetime warranty for the materials, workmanship. So it is a consumable item, so it will dull over time, so do sharpen it back up. And then kind of look at what type of service you want to do for that. I also do, the other thing that has come up as far as a little rattle. So you do have a little bit of rattle on this one. And so that is something that I'm aware of. We're having some new stop pins made. That's where this is basically has a little bit more play on it. So putting a little bit of oil on both sides on this one. Let's see if that works. So yeah, that takes out the rattle on this one. So that's a little quick thing to just take out the rattle. And then if that still bothers you, when I get the new stop pins in, I'll send it out as well. So so that's the knife, Orion Solaris. Let me know in the comments as far as what you think. Pick up your accessories if you do want to have it assembled by myself and then lubricated and everything else. There is that $5 surcharge for that, but we'll take care of it and then send it all out to you with your order. But that's about all I have to say about that one today.
Hello, I am Schmoogs, and I am going to unbox my knife today and tell you all what I like about it. So I'm going to unbox it. These are the spare parts. And then here's the box with the knife in it. And then you have a sticker and a thing that tells you how to put it together. So soon comes the knife. This thing is optional. You don't need it. And this is my knife. What I like about it is that I added a red backspacer and a blue pivot, and also the carbon fiber. There's swirls like a pattern on it, and then also there for the stonewash blade there's like little things there, and it's really cool, and what's really cool about it is that everything everything that's on the knife you get to pick, but not like any color. You only get to pick an orange backspacer or a red backspacer and a red pivot, or a green backspacer and a green pivot, or a blue backspacer and a blue pivot. So that's all I have for today. Bye.
Hi, I'm Jase, and I'm unboxing my knife today. So you have these little things that you can use for if you want to switch this stuff around. And that you got stickers at the bottom of your knife boxes. I'm gonna move this away. And there's also a pocket pen at the top here. So my knife has carbon fiber and a blue.
Is that blue?
I mean orange
Pivot color.
and a red backspacer.
What do you like about it?
That it matches the orange.
Yeah. Is that about it you have to say about it? Is that all you have to say about it? Yep. So that's all.
That's all. Hi, this is my box. Today we're opening a box, which is my knife, which has a C on it, which actually my name's Bonds. So I have this spare parts. This is not my favorite color. I'll show you my favorite color later in this. So these are the stuff that I have. So the first thing, we have this and then this. Then the second thing, we have a box. There's a knife in this box, which is a green. So there's this pocket pen, which I'm trying to get out. This is the pocket pen. Has these 3 stars on it, which that's what's Dad's company picture chose. So that goes here. With that up, the knife. The knife goes right there. My favorite color, green. So the blade also has it on there too, right here. And then I also choose that color because my favorite color is green. I choose everything green except the blade because there's no green blade. And other parts like screws and this. And there's also this backing. And then there's this to open the knife. Now I open the knife, and I'm 7 years old.
You didn't open the
I'm a kid.
knife. Here.
And now I closed it. So this was my knife that I choose. And then there's some other parts I need to show you. So it also says push the button. And you can find a video of this, which we're doing right now, on YouTube. And there's also some other videos on there, if you haven't seen them. So you have lots more. And this is it without nothing. This, I didn't take this apart. I just found it on the desk. And then,
Okay. Is that all I have to say?
no. And then there's this, and it's actually a pen. It does work. It can write. This.
Don't bite it.
So that's the pen. It's a small pen, but it can write. I have one of these, but it's yellow. And then my dad screwed all these together. And then there's a lot other stuff. So something about this, you can get a shiny, or you couldn't. You don't have to get this knife. You don't have to. You can get a different knife, like this one. And then there's also other knives that my dad has. That like my brother made one. And then there's other knives like this one, which isn't the same as it. And then there's these fake knives, which is actually this. See? They're the same. But there isn't that.
So you done?
Yep. And then I'm done. So that's all I have to say. So close this box. And then I'm done. Bye.